The Doki Doki Literature Club designs are perfect for what they're trying to do. If you don't know, the creator of Doki Doki Literature Club specifically made it so that the character designs had to be drawn back from their original concepts. The creator of Doki Doki Literature Club specifically made it so that the characters had to be drawn back from their original concepts. So they give off a more stereotypical dating sim vibe. This makes it so that it takes the viewer by surprise when, you know, they eventually get to... Yeah... Objectively, they do a great job at doing this, but sometimes I feel like that the characters often blend into one another, especially when it comes to Sayori and Monika. So I wanted to mess around with the designs myself to show you exactly what I mean. Sayori is actually the last of the girls that I redesigned, but I'm going to show you her first because I don't really like her design. I feel like out of all the characters in Doki Doki Literature Club, Sayori's design works the best because I feel like it's very logical for her and her character to hide the way that she's feeling, especially because you don't really know about her depression until, like, the last minute if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I felt like her design looking very basic works for her. However, I did want to mess around with it a bit. My main thing is that I think Sayori and Monika look too similar together. And when their hair is up, like, you don't really notice it. But I feel like in a lot of fan art, when they all have their hair down, the only thing that's separating the two characters is their hair length. And this is because their hair is similar shades to one another. And that just... in general, is something that I don't really like about the Doki Doki Literature Club girls. 3 out of the 4 characters have very pink hair, and this doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you're putting them all next to each other, it really makes Yuri pop out, and not in the best way. It makes her look out of place almost, and I just don't really rock with it. So I ended up changing her hair to a very, like, reddish tone. Out of all the characters, Sayori is one of the only characters that I really gave like a distinct shape to, and this is mostly just to go with the idea like before of her looking very natural and like cutesy, like nothing's wrong with her, because I did end up changing her uniform, or at least I changed how she styles her uniform. So I wanted to give her a very like laid back outfit. Like, she looks like she was rushing when she was coming out the house. She doesn't have her blazer on, her bow isn't really tied. It's just like, she looks cute, don't get me wrong. It just looks very clumsy, if that makes sense. I also changed the placement of her bow, mostly because I just don't really like where it is on her head in her original design, but also because I wanted her to parallel Monika, so Monika and Sayori both have a bow in the same placement, but their shapes and their sizes of their bow will still keep them distinct and completely opposite from one another. As a character, I actually really liked Sayori. She definitely wasn't my favorite, don't get me wrong, but I really liked the concept of her, especially because I feel like at the time, mental health issues weren't really talked about, especially in media. Like, to see someone else that's similar age to me feel the same way, it really impacted me. And I don't know, for that reason, she's always had like a soft spot in my heart. And a part of me does wish that we had more of her. But at the end of the day, I think from a literature standpoint, she did what she was supposed to do in the story, and because of that there kind of was no reason to really keep her in other than the fact that like I love her. It's like logically I understand, but it's like, oh, Sayori, you deserve so much better. So next up is Natsuki, and Natsuki is actually my second favorite design in Doki Doki Literature Club. So I changed like almost nothing about her. For the most part, I kind of just made her sharper. Like, I made her hair very angular compared to her original design. With this, I also gave her like a Kogal aesthetic. Mostly because my good friend Giselle, my saving grace, she helps me every time when I'm struggling with a design. But she pointed out the idea that Natsuki being mad at Sayori for bringing a guy a kind of like counterculture idea instead of a male fantasy type of idea. And I can't help but think that's a really good idea. So to go with this, I decided to take off her blazer completely. And again, this is another issue with my final art. But in the concept art, her blazer undershirt thing, like the blue thing, was supposed to be baggy. And then to show, firstly, like the Kogal aesthetic, but also to show that she doesn't really fit her clothes for obvious reasons if you know the game. I freaking forgot to add that in the final design. I think that would have been so cool, but it's fine. I'm not bitter at all. When it came to her casual design, I literally changed almost nothing about it because, listen, I like the idea of her outfit. I just feel like it needs to be a little reorganized. I gave her an off-the-shoulder sweater for no other reason except for I felt like it would be comfortable. The only thing else that is very noticeable is that I changed her eye color. Originally, I think her eyes were pink. I've never been a fan of anime characters that have like the same color eyes and hair. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't rock with it. So what I ended up doing is that for each of the 4 characters, I gave them the hair color of the other character and put it in their eyes. So for Sayori, I ended up having her eyes be the color of Monika's hair. And for Natsuki, I ended up giving her the eyes of Yuri's hair. I just thought it would have been a really good parallel, especially because I feel like those duos are the foils to one another, but also because I feel like it ties them in nicer. And that's kind of just my goal, is to make sure that they look like they're from the same source. When it comes to her actual writing, I really like it. I didn't actually realize how much I liked Natsuki until I was like halfway done with making the designs of these characters, and I was talking to Robin about like the characters, and they very briefly mentioned that Natsuki's story is very centered around autonomy, and how Monika kind of like takes that away from all of the girls. I think I was too young to realize this before, but that really does make sense. So I think this realization just kind of really made me appreciate her more. And yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Robin. You're so cool. Next up is Yuri, and honestly, I didn't have a lot to change about Yuri. Yuri is one of those characters that I actually really like the design of, and I feel like I'm saying that about every single character. I'm just like, I really like her design. I really like her design. I really like her design. But hey, again, I feel like the Doki Doki Literature Club designs do really work. I think there just needed to be pushed a little bit more. And when it came to Yuri, all I really wanted to change is her framing hair pieces. For the most part, I feel like Doki Doki Literature Club has the same problem with Danganronpa, where they both have this tendency to give the characters very similar bang styles. I've mentioned this time and time again, but I feel like if you are making a group of characters that are supposed to stand next to each other, you need to make sure that little things like that, like whether it be the hem of their shirt or their bang pieces or their eye shape, they need to be at least a little different so that they can all feel distinct from one another. Even if they have different hair colors, they will still blend in if people sketch them next to each other, and I feel like that is very common in Doki Doki Literature Club. Yuri was the very first character I redesigned, and I really like her. I don't know. I think she's cutesy. But I didn't always feel that way. I struggled so much with her design. Even in the concept stage, her and Sayori, I struggled with so much. Her face gave me such a freaking problem. In her original concept, I gave her very droopy eyes, and I really freaking liked it. I liked the concept so much. I don't know how I lost it. I don't know, I just struggled depicting it in my final design. I even got to the point where I was like, Robin, please help! And they ended up drawing, the second sprite side profile for me because I struggled so much with it, and they made her look so good. And they just made her look so good. And when I was walking in and starting to create the concepts for these characters, I really, really, really thought about what other people think about the characters. And this especially goes for Yuri because I don't really have an opinion of Yuri. I think she has really cool concepts, but I never really felt close to her the way I felt with the other characters. When I was searching up things about Yuri, I got a lot of goth Yuri headcanons and I really tried to do that. I tried to give her very dark makeup. At one point I think she has dark purple lips, but I just felt like it didn't really work. I didn't really rock with it the way that I wished I rocked with it. And I talked to cinnamon spiders, as I do, and they were just you don't have to do that. And I was like, what do you mean? They're you don't have to make her goth if you don't want to make her goth. And I went, okay, maybe you have a point. After that realization, I kind of just went off of vibes, and it worked. I liked it. Monika is my favorite character in the game, bro. Even before I realized that, she was the antagonist of the game, I always really, really liked her. I love the idea that she's club president. I like the idea that she is almost unattainable. I think she's so cool. I ended up making her hair orange to, go back to the Sayori and Monika looking alike thing. I changed it up. Boom Pow will never blend in with Sayori ever again. And I also completely changed her ponytail. I'm so sorry. I know the ponytail is so iconic, but I felt like it being so long doesn't add a lot of flow. So I ended up making it shoulder length and then spiking it up almost Jimmy Neutron's mother? That type of hairstyle? I don't know. I rock with it. I think she looks pretty in it. But to be fair, Monika's my favorite. So who is to say? Also, to go with the eye color theme that I did with the other three girls, I ended up keeping Monika's eyes green. My favorite part about the Doki Doki Literature Club designs is the small difference between the leggings and the shoes of all the girls. So Natsuki, Yuri, and Sayori, they all have white socks with white shoes and the blue on the shoes because they are in the game. They are fictional characters. But to represent the fact that Monika does not blend in, they ended up giving her black stockings with the pink on her shoe. And I think that is so good.
So I wanted to recreate this idea in their eye color.
Because she's my favorite, I don't have much to say about her, which kind of doesn't make sense, but it's kind of like when you like a character so much that you struggle to draw them because you like them so much. Does that make sense? That's kind of what's going on here. I like Monika so very much that I'm just and I don't know, I think that Doki Doki Literature Club has really good writing, and again, I really like their character designs too. This is in no way, shape, or form to shame the team because, again, I think they did a really, really good job. Except with the uniforms. I hate the uniforms. Oh, brother, the uniforms. Ugh. I hate the orange so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't rock with it. I think it just doesn't look good, especially because it doesn't even match the shoes because the shoes are blue. So it's why are you putting orange when you could just put blue or at least put pink because Monika has those pink shoes. So it's why don't you do that? But no, they add in orange and it's such a ranchy color of orange. Oh my god, it's freaking pumpkin orange, but not pumpkin, freshly bloomed pumpkins. Autumn leaves. No, it's rotting pumpkin orange. I just don't rock with it and I don't like it. that is all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions for next week's video, please let me know down below. As always, stay safe, keep fighting, and of course, don't die. Goodbye!